Welcome to the HiFi Clinic, the first episode of the HiFi Clinic's interview series. And we are fortunate today that we have Thomas Carlitz, founder of Cast Amplification, a handmade manufacturer of custom amplifiers for the sophisticated musician. So Thomas, thank you for coming to the HiFi Clinic today.
Thanks for having me here.
You came a long way, didn't you?
Yeah.
Where'd you come from?
From Germany.
And where do you live in Germany?
Close to Düsseldorf.
Oh, you're not in Cologne?
No.
So are you a Dusseldorf guy or a Cologne guy?
I like both.
Okay, good answer. So tell us about your background. What's your technical background? Why do you know stuff about amplifiers?
Yeah, so I studied electrical engineering, and so I was always digging into these kind of technology.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, came into that.
Why did you have an interest in electrical engineering? Was it growing up?
I always repaired televisions, radio. I always was interested in it, and so, yeah, it was a natural thing.
Okay, great. So now how did you get into Cast Amplification, right? It's a handmade purveyor of sophisticated amplifiers.
Yeah, basically it started because I was at that time playing in a band, guitar, and as a guitarist you need an amplifier if you want to be loud and famous. So I was looking for appropriate amplifier, and it was too expensive at that point in time, and so I tried to build my own one, and so that was the beginning of it all.
So not to age you, but when did you start doing this? 1988, 1852, 1700s? I mean, when was it exactly?
1979.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's when you started building
Yes.
your amplifiers.
Yes.
So you were in a band at that time.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to get into the Q&A here. So I want to start by asking, we started the HiFi Clinic because of an original 1962 Grundig stereo, which you just saw. Mm-hmm. So we talked a little bit, tell us why you started Cast Amplification. You said you wanted to create amplifiers, but you turned it into a business. So talk about that.
The problem at that time for me was to find the right amplifier, the one which suits my needs. And you can buy a lot of things in the shops, but there's always something missing or not right or whatever. So I started with modifying them. Mm-hmm. And then I identified, a lot of people would like to have their own amplifier, like they would like to have their own guitar or their own whatever. And so I started with that, and people liked it, and so it grows and grows. And
so how did you sell your first few though, right? Because 79 was when you started modifying them for yourself. The internet didn't come along for quite a while.
Yeah, it took me a while. So I played a long time in the band, building a lot of amplifiers, gaining more knowledge, knowing what people would like to have, getting the right ear to translate what they say to technology. Yeah. And then, so I would say it was 15 years later, or 10 years later, let's say. Yeah. So it started that people were asking.
So it's always been word of mouth, is that right? So no retail store.
Yeah, and no retail stores. Last years I went to the music fair in Frankfurt, which is a big music fair, and 3 times in a row. So got more publicity, and I was on a Premier Guitar music fair demo, something. So yeah, awesome. You have to take your time.
So do you still sell them through your website? Can people buy them there? And it's not like off the shelf, right? So they have to say, hey, I want an amplifier, but I want it to do this, this, and this. What are some of those variables that people could say they want it to be customized for?
They want to have a switch to make it brighter sounding or darker sounding or different channel or different volume. So, yeah. But typically the musicians which will come to me are experienced musicians. Yeah. So they know what they want. Mm-hmm. And they can express what they want, and then I can build it.
They're sophisticated. Yes. Yeah. Much like we are here on the HiFi Clinic, or at the HiFi Clinic. And Grundig is one of the favorite brands, or is the favorite brand of the HiFi Clinic. It's a good German brand. Mm-hmm. What has happened to them, and why are they no longer in the market? This is going to hurt, I know, but...
Yeah, I know. So
both of us.
If you look at the history of Grundig, so Max Grundig, he was in the technology, and after World War II, he started his business. It was a little bit complicated at that time because you were not allowed to build amplifiers. So he was a clever man. He has the idea of building DIY kits, because with that he could sell them, and it's not an amplifier because it's just pieces.
Yeah.
And so he started his business, and it grows and grows. But from my point of view, he lost his view on what is going on the market. And then all these Japanese, Asian companies were coming with new technology, and he has to keep up. And somehow he lost track to do that.
But he wasn't a one-man show at that point.
No, a lot of people.
When was this approximately? Was it in the 60s or 70s?
When the Asian companies...
When he started losing...
No, in the 80s.
Oh, is that? Okay.
Yeah. So I think 89, if I'm right, 89 he sold his company to Philips.
Okay.
So all of his business went down.
And was it because of the Philips, or was it because of the Asian competitor?
No, he also had a technology for VCR recorders.
Okay.
But from Japan there were a lot different technology.
Yeah.
And they had more marketing power, and more companies were addicted to it. So he lost market shares. Mm-hmm. And at that time he has a lot of revenue coming through that. But then suddenly...
Wow.
It went down.
But are they still in business today in some way? They've been sold, bankrupted and sold.
The brand is now running by a Turkish company. Okay. They're selling televisions under Grundig market brand. Yeah, but
awesome. All right. Yeah. I mean, I personally am a big fan of Grundig, and another brand that I'm a fan of is Lucas Appliance. If you're looking for a new appliance, we recommend you shop at Lucas Appliance. With the good folks over there. They're a founding sponsor of the HiFi Clinic, where we are today. Lucas Appliance, whether it's 1968 or 2068, we'll be there for you. So now we return to our special guest, the legend, Thomas Carlitz, founder of Cast Amplification. You can find them online at castamplification.com, handmade in Germany from the first drill to the last screw. So the next question is, iPhone hipster jockeys think that their crappy earpods provide a stunning sound, but we know better.
Of course.
So why is tube amplification sound better?
Yeah, tubes sound better because, first of all, I think they are more evolved than the new technology. It's longer. It's longer on the market, and from a technology point, music consists of a lot of we call it harmonics. So harmonics are very fragile, and it looks like they can easier survive in a tube, in a vacuum tube, than in a silicon transistor.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So why is that better? So talk about the electron part of this. I mean, I'm a little bit interested.
So you have high voltages inside a tube amplifier, so be very careful working with it. And you have low voltage in an MP3 player, and it has compressed sound because the MP3 format. So this high voltage led to more, we call it headroom. So the point until it gets to clipping and hard clipping. So there's much more dynamic range in a tube amplifier.
Okay. And you can't recreate that in a digital format with your iPhone 12, your iPhone 9, your iPhone 2?
I mean, today we have very good analog to digital converters on the market, but still the dynamic range is not sufficient enough to transport all this dynamics out of a tube amplifier.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that people really need to be audiophiles to appreciate this quality difference between classic tube amplifiers and, throwaway disposable iPhones?
It's much easier. So having a portable or in your smartphone, it's much easier. But if you really want to listen to the music, take time to listen to it, enjoy the full range of sound, you have to use a tube amplifier.
All right, I love it. Love it. So next question, Papa Bear Bill O'Reilly wants the world to live in a time capsule dated 1956. So Papa Bear Bill O'Reilly is a very famous political talking head here in the US. So he wants everything to stay as it was in 1956. When he was a child, this is the way it was. That's why it should stay that way. What technology shifts have we seen that make you confident that today is better than 1956? Because you've talked about how tube amplifiers have a better sound than the iPhone.
I would say we still can live with the tube amplifiers because we know much more now, because we have more years now than in 56. In 56, we just were at the beginning of the tube technology. Yeah. But now we know them in full glance and everything, so we can make most out of it.
So do you think that there will be more and more equipment that's made with tube amplifiers?
No, it's...
Okay, so you're really talking about just the sort of guitar tube amp in a way, and the beautiful Grundig stereos we have all around the HiFi clinic.
Well, that's a difference, because in the Grundig stereo you would like to have the pure, clean sound. Talking about guitar, you would like to have distorted sound. Okay. And the distorted sound is, even today, much better with a tube amplifier than with a not tube amplifier.
So you're saying, while the rest of the world might stay in 1956, well, I guess you're not saying that. You're saying in the tube amplifier world, it is staying in 1956. Yes. The rest of the world can move forward. Yes. Android can think differently, but in tube amplifiers, we're staying in 1956. Yes. Well, 65-ish.
65 is a great year.
Yeah, okay. Great, well, we would love to be, as the HiFi Clinic, a partner of Cast Amplification on your website someday. But we would love to thank Thomas Carlitz, a legend of the, guitar amplifier industry, to be here today. Cast Amplification, a provider of high-end tube amplifiers for personal and professional use. The HiFi Clinic is not just a place where dreams turn into memories, but also the most successful lifestyle brand in the vintage audio category, maybe outside of Cast Amplification. But thank you very much, Thomas.
Thanks for having me.
Vielen Dank.
See you.